Hero recently introduced not one, not two, but three versions of the XPulse in India. To list them in terms of affordability, the 200T sits first, followed by the standard XPulse 200 and the fuel-injected XPulse 200. If the XPulse is on your shortlist, then stay tuned as we help you pick a variant that suits your needs the best. All three motorcycles are powered by Hero's 199.6cc 2-valve single-cylinder engine that made its debut last year in the Xtreme 200R. Interestingly, power figures this motor puts out remains identical on every Hero it is being used on, including the fully fed Xtreme 200S. This means all three XPulses produce 18.4 HP at 8000 rpm and 17.1 Nm of torque at 6500 rpm. The 5-speed gearbox remains the same across the range as well. The only difference when it comes to the powertrain on these motorcycles comes in form of the fueling method. The most expensive XPulse uses fuel injection while the standard XPulse 200 and 200T use carburetors. Our experience with these motorcycles revealed that the engine on the XPulse FI proved to be a little bit smoother in comparison. The fuel-injected XPulse also felt freer revving and more willing to maintain high revs. We also expect that the fuel efficiency on the FI model will benefit as well. However, when it comes to other aspects, the performance from the engine is quite similar. All three XPulse models will sustain 80 to 90 kph on the highway, but anything over 100 is work. This shouldn't come as a surprise as the engine actually generates 160 levels of performance. When it comes to dynamics, the variant division can be brought down from 3 to 2, one being the XPulse 200T and the other the XPulse 200. While the XPulse 200T uses the main frame from the XPulse, it actually has a lot more in common with the Xtreme 200R, with which it shares its swing arm, brakes, wheels, tires and rear shock. This means the suspension travel on it is only as much as you'd find on the Xtreme 200R, and that's nominal compared to the XPulse 200s. This means the motorcycle is best left on the road. Handling is pretty good thanks to the grippy MRF rubber, but the bike isn't as responsive or reactive as the Xtreme. This is because it has a more relaxed steering angle and a longer wheelbase. The bike feels exactly like you'd expect a standard street bike too, and when paired to the average performance from the motor, it feels more like a quick urban bike than anything else. Calling it a tourer is a bit of a stretch. As for the XPulse 200s, they're a lot more focused. To give this bike serious off-road credentials, Hero went with a 21-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear wheel setup, which is identical to what you'll find on off-road rally bikes. The telescopic fork has 190 mm of travel, while the 10-step preload adjustable monoshock gets 170 mm. The XPulse 200s are a lot better equipped when compared to their predecessor, the Impulse, and it shows. We found no pothole too big for the motorcycles in the time we spent riding them. Even though the XPulse 200s are 20 kg heavier than the Impulse, they are a step up in terms of capability and dynamics. While the brakes on all three variants are sized similarly, the XPulse 200s use pedal discs while the T uses conventional discs. The single-channel ABS-equipped brakes deliver decently adequate performance on all three. When it comes to features, all three XPulses come with LCD speedometers that display quite a bit of information. It also shows basic navigation information in the form of arrows and a small expected time of arrival readout underneath. However, you will need to download a special app to get this to work and is powered by Google Maps. A LED headlight and USB charging slot are also part of standard equipment. To summarize, the XPulse 200T doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're fond of its styling and are out looking for a bike meant for the road in the first place. It is nowhere near as capable as the proper XPulses, but it does offer better value proposition than the Xtreme 200R thanks to the extra features it offers. However, when it comes to the other two, they are quite likable motorcycles with very capable chassis. The only thing letting them down are their underwhelming motors. But to be fair, there's nothing else like them at their price.
The closest is Royal Enfield's Himalayan, and that costs around 75,000 rupees more.
While the fuel-injected model does charge a premium of Rs 8,000, we would still pay the extra amount as it feels slightly less stressed while holding higher revs, which is something you will find yourself doing often on this bike, whether on road or off it.